Hello beautiful people, I'm Raish Phoenix. Let's get started with this look. I already primed my face with the Fenty Beauty Instant Retouch Face Primer and my eyes with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in Original. I'm going to start off with using the shade Rubbish from the Melt Cosmetics Rust Stack, and I'm going to focus this color on my upper crease and sweep it underneath the brow bone. Next, I'm going to use the shade Rust, and I'm going to be focusing this color in the crease and also sweeping it underneath the brow bone just below where we placed the shade Rubbish. Dipping into the blueprint stack, I'm going to use the shade Dim Out and focus this on the outer corner of the lid. I'm going to create a cat eye shape, and then once I have that shape down, I'm going to start bringing it into the crease. Next, I'm going to take the shade King Stud, and I'm going to focus this on the inner portion of the lid, and then also on the outer corner of the lid right next to where we placed Dim Out. Next, I'm going to take the shade Dud Bowl and put it right next to where we placed King Stud, leaving a little space in the middle for the next eyeshadow. Taking the shade Skylight, we're going to place that right in that opening. I've been inspired by Makeup by Mario's technique on Kim Kardashian, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring this color a little bit up past the crease and bring it a little bit right where we put that shade Rust and Rubbish. Moving on to the face, I'm going to grab my Fenty Beauty Matchsticks in Espresso. I'm warming up the product on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to apply it directly to the face in the areas that I want to contour. So what I've been doing lately is I apply my contour, then my highlight, and then after that foundation. I've been watching a lot of celebrity makeup artists, and I've been noticing like they don't apply foundation all over the face and then do contour and then do highlight, and I feel like if they do, it's very few or whatever. So I've been trying this technique lately and I really like it. On top of the fact that I have oily skin, it's like layering all those products, and I don't know, it's weird, and then my oily skin just breaks up the product over time. So I've been trying this technique and I actually really like it. So yeah. As you guys already saw, for my nose contour, what I do is I pick up the product that I warmed up on the back of my hand and I use a brush to apply it more specifically to the areas that I really want to bring out the shape of my nose. So I do that just to make sure it doesn't get too crazy if I were to just apply the product directly. And then now I'm just going to go in with a damp beauty blender, so it's damp with water, and I'm just going to blend everything out. For highlight, I'm going in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills foundation stick in the shade Cool Golden. What I do is I use a concealer brush and I just apply it to the areas wherever I want to highlight. I use the brush pretty much to just make sure that I'm putting an even layer of the foundation on my skin, and then on top of that, again with just the precision thing, I just want to make sure I get it in the right areas. Using this technique, I definitely noticed that when I go in to blend it out with the beauty blender, it does kind of lift the product depending on how much of how thick of a layer I put down. So it's one of those things where it's just like after you put the product down and you start blending it out with the beauty blender, you might have to go back in and layer it and just see how much of coverage you want. But I still really like this because it's very specific and it doesn't get too messy and it works. Okay, it just works. So I'm going in with a beauty blender and I'm just using the pointed part of it to blend out everything nicely for the highlight. And for any area where I feel like the highlight is starting to get a little bit out of hand, what I'll do is I'll go back to the bottom section or the bottom part of the beauty blender that I was using to blend out my contour, and I'll just go in with that side as I am doing right now, like on my nose. So I'll do that and kind of switch between both sides or both ends of the beauty blender to make sure everything looks as nicely blended as possible. Grabbing my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Foundation in the shade 450, I'm just gonna blot out the product on the back of my hand, and then I'm gonna go in and blend out everything evenly between my contour and my highlight that I already put down before. To set all the areas where I place specifically my highlight, I'm grabbing my Kat Von D Beauty Lock-It Setting Powder in Translucent. So the technique I've been using for applying powder is I press and roll. This is another thing I've seen celebrity makeup artists do. So what I do is I'm really just making sure I get the product in and on my skin instead of kind of just dusting it across. And then to set everywhere else on my face, I'm using my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Dark Deep. In a second, you guys will see that I did my brows off camera. So for those of you that may be wondering, I used a ColourPop Precision Brow Pencil in the shade Black and Brown. Moving back to the eyes, I'm going to grab my NYX Suede Lip Liner in the shade Club Hopper, and I'm actually going to be applying this in my waterline. Then I'm taking the shade Dim Out, and I'm going to apply that on the outer corner of my lower lash line. Then I'm taking the shade King Stud and I'm applying it right next to Dim Out and then also on my inner corner lower lash line. So I'm just going to mimic what I did on the upper portion of the eye. So again, taking the shade Deadbolt, putting it in between, leaving a little space for the shade Skylight, and then going in with Skylight and placing it right there in the middle. Then I'm going to take the shade Rubbish and I'm using this to diffuse out the lower lash line and the outer portion of my cat eye. Then for liner, I'm going to take my Kat Von D Beauty Tattoo Liner in the shade Trooper Black, and I'm just going to be kind of laying down a nice thin line for my lashes that I'm going to be applying later. And for mascara, I'm going to be grabbing my L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara in the shade Blackest Black. For blush, I'm going to use the shade Parakeet from ColourPop. And for highlight, I'm going to be using my favorite highlight from Anastasia Beverly Hills in collaboration with Amrezy. So to highlight my inner corner and my brow bone, I'm going to be using a smaller brush, and then also to apply the highlight as I did before on the nose. And then for the cheek and kind of to diffuse out the nose highlight, I'm going to be going in with my A23 Anastasia Beverly Hills brush. And I'm wearing Sugar Pill lashes in the style Senescent. Moving on to lips, I'm grabbing my Fun Size Melt Cosmetics lip liner in the shade Edible, and I'm going to go ahead and line my lips. I'm going to be doing an ombre lip, so what I'm doing is I'm going in with the shade Old Rose from Melt Cosmetics first, and then after that I'm going to go in with the shade Voyeur. I'm just going to continue to blot my lips together and blend it out as nicely and neatly as possible, and then after you'll see that I'll go in with my finger and even the lip liner. It's one of those things where you gotta just have like the patience to do it, but also at the same time just really finesse it. Then to set my face, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Illuminating Mist and Set Spray. Alright, that's it for today's look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more makeup tutorials from me, go ahead and leave a comment below. Let me know. Bless up, and until next time, sending out much peace, love, and enlightenment. Bye, guys.